Good morning, students. Today we are going to start NCERT questions of chapter 2, that is role of the government in health. So the first question is, in this chapter you have read that health is a wider concept than illness. Look at this quote from the Constitution and explain the terms living standard and public health in your words. So first of all, you must know the term living standard. Living standard, it means that the status of living. Living standard means how we are spending our life. It means quality of housing, material comfort, wealth experienced by an individual or group. So living standard is of two types, that is high living standard and poor living standard. High living standard, it means that a person who can purchase anything as what he wants. Low living standard means the person is even unable to earn the money for their food and water. So living standard, it means status of living. It defines the economic conditions of any country or any person. Living standard shows how much expense is being incurred towards our status of living. Next is public health. Public, as we have already discussed, public means the people of a country. Health means ability to remain free from illness. So public health means our ability to remain free from illness and injuries, and when these services are arranged by the government, then it is called public health services. They are linked together so that they cover rural and urban areas. So I hope the living standard and public health mean is clear to you. Next question is question number 2. What are the different ways through which the government can take steps to provide healthcare for all? Discuss. Here we have to tell the different ways through which the government can take steps for the people who are living in the country, whether they are poor or rich. So in this answer, as we all know that in India we have different kind of healthcare services. In those healthcare services we have private healthcare services in majority. But the private healthcare services, it is not possible for the poor people to afford all the services in the hospitals. On the other hand, if we will talk about the government hospitals, so they are very less in number in our country. And whatsoever we have in our country, those hospitals are not properly equipped and they don't have the good doctors also. So this is the major problem for the people who are living in the country, who are basically poor, who cannot afford the private hospital expense. So what the government should do? The government should encourage the government hospitals rather than the private healthcare centers. So what the steps the government should take? The government should open and maintain few of the hospitals and the healthcare centers for basically those who are poor, that are hospitals, healthcare center, primary healthcare center, dispensaries, family welfare centers, and they should support these all the things: free camps of checkups, free diagnosis centers, pulse polio and similar type special campaigns, health awareness programs, workshops and seminars, training camps. So these all the things should be supported by the government. So next question is, what differences do you find between private and healthcare services in your area? Use the following table to compare and contrast these. So you may have seen many of the private healthcare services and public healthcare services, means that private hospitals are the government hospitals. So you may have seen that there is a lot of differences between both of them. So what all the things you have seen in both the healthcare centers, those things you have to write over here. First of all, the facility. In the facility you have private and public, affordability, then availability, then quality. So this you can do on your own. Next question is, improvement in water and sanitation can control many diseases. Explain with the help of examples. So what does it mean that if the water will be impure and there will be the less sanitation in the areas, or the areas will not be properly cleaned, so many diseases will be spreaded over there. Okay, so improvement in water and sanitation, it is very important to control many of the diseases, because due to this we get a lot of diseases. If the areas will not be properly clean and water will not be pure, then definitely we will get many of the waterborne diseases, and the diseases like fever, cholera, these kind of diseases will be spreaded through the mosquitoes. Definitely in the less sanitation areas, these all the problems will be occurred. So what is the answer? In our country, most of the diseases are caused due to contaminated water and poor sanitation. In tribal areas, there are shortage of water supply and lack of awareness about proper sanitation. Till today, people depend on the water of polluted rivers or ponds and suffer from lack of sanitation. These cause highly infectious diseases such as diarrhea, malaria, cholera, jaundice, plague, etc. If we follow clean sanitation and use purified water, then we can easily control and avoid many of the above diseases. It means that whatsoever the things are there in our contract, those all the things should be cleaned properly, whether it is water or the food which we eat or the areas where we do live. All the things should be properly cleaned so that we can keep ourselves away from the different kinds of diseases.